Okay. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we're still on music. Yep, there's lag. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the third races of the TSN Artemis. TSN Armada
Good
convention
morning,
online.
afternoon, and evening, ladies and gentlemen.
I am here with Matthew Vaj and Kalon. Say hello, you two.
Hello there.
We will be commentating through the absolutely thrilling races happening between the ships. Creatively named Team TSN, the Flying Turtle, and the Black Hole. Matthew Vaj, do you want to run through our crews on each of the ships?
Well, for Team TSN, we have Kristen Barr and Raiden. Team 1, which ship is Team 1? I forgot.
Team 1 is the Flying Turtle.
Flying Turtle, right. Wolf and Zorian. And Team 2 is then the Black Hole with Adron Tivion and Lurie.
Thank you for that. So, backstage just before the races, very interesting. A whole bunch of the ship crew seemed to be getting into quite the argument over who was going to win. Kalon, you were participating in the second set of races, weren't you?
I was in the first and second set of the races. Indeed, I was.
So anything you want to say about what should be expected of these crews? Any tips and tricks for them?
Well, as I did find out personally,
Seem
especially
to
in
be
the
getting
second
into
set of
quite the
races,
argument
energy
over who was going
conservation
to win.
is absolutely pivotal in these races. It doesn't take much to
Kalon,
run out
you
of
were
energy and then you're
participating in
lagging.
the second set of races, weren't you?
I was in
Okay,
the
it
first
appears
and
that the
second
ships
set
are
of
now
the
lining up
races.
on the
Indeed, I
start
was.
line. This
So
map,
anything you want to
this
say
course that we're
about
going through is
what should be expected
in
of these crews?
Cerberus,
Any tips
Sector
and tricks for
2,
them?
around the Atlantis
Well,
Gate.
as I did find out
There are a whole bunch of
personally,
stations
especially in
around
the second
here
set
for
of
them,
races,
for the
energy
crews to dock
conservation
up if they need to
is
regain
absolutely
energy. But as you
pivotal in these
said, they really hope that they don't have to.
Yeah, if they follow the lead that the Aegis was doing in the last set of races and take a nice conservative approach, tight lines, they can make it around these courses with all the energy they need. But if they start gunning that warp 4, they're going to need to stop for a pit.
Very good. Seems like the racers are now reading up on the line. It's all on the race controller for setting them off.
And let's just hope that these engineers are up to the task.
And let's not pass up the helmsman as well. This is also a great test of your flying skills.
Indeed, it is. Like I said, they've got to make sure that those lines are tight. If they take the wide berths, that's going to take extra energy burn to get them back on track.
Now, let's not forget that crew coordination is paramount. If there's good enough coordination between timing, we can pull off some pretty tight turns.
Do either of you two have favorites for this race?
Well, I'm a bit biased for the TSN group, but
Personally, I would like to go for Team 2 on this one, Tivion and Blurry. I know that Tivion's a damn good engineer. I've served with him myself, and Blurry, yeah, he's a very good pilot also.
I've got to say that I'm partial to Team 1, Wolf and Zorian, and they're off the line. Let's see how this goes.
Straight away, TSN are taking a very wide berth there.
Hello, just thought I'd pop in here for a moment, tell you what's going on. They've just started the race and it's a 4-lap race in Cerberus Sector 2.
Thank you. This is Xavier, I believe the overall leader of the TSN, and for this race, our race controller.
You believe the overall leader of the TSN?
I've got to say, I believe there
I
might
th-
be a couple of coups going on.
I think the words are supreme leader. Okay, I'm gonna head back to race control.
And everyone taking that turn a little bit wide there. They could have taken that a little bit tighter and heading straight towards 5P into the asteroid field and Nebula. Will they hit the asteroids, I wonder?
I'm wondering why Team
It
TSN
also-
is going into those into that nebula so far.
Yeah, that's really going to that's really going to slow them down if they haven't hit enough of those asteroids. They'll lose all of their speed around that corner.
And Flying Turtle Tree is flying around this course. They have a massive headway.
Team TSN had been keeping up with them, but going through that nebula really slowed them down. The black hole even managed to catch up and even surpass Team TSN, and there they do it again.
Looks like Team TSN may have run out of energy, possibly.
Well, let's take a look.
And Flying Turtle just hit some asteroids they're going through. Oh no, TSN seem to be back on track. Maybe just technical issues there. And that's Flying Turtle first through the gates onto lap 2.
And they've got a lap time of just over 2 minutes.
I mean, this headway that they've got is absolutely pivotal. It means that they can afford to dock up for a short while just to recharge those engines.
Of course, of course.
And the black hole could potentially be stuck in a black hole with the amount of distance they've lost. TSN seeming a little bit lost there, having to go back round.
It seems like they actually missed the second buoy. When you miss a buoy, you've got to go around the buoy, go the correct way around. The buoys are marked starboard and port. That is the side of the ship that you have to pass on. Port, you need to pass them with the buoy on your left, going around counterclockwise, as you can see the black hole doing right now. Starboard, you need to pass with the buoy to your right, as evidenced in buoy 2 and buoy 7. Team TSN and the black hole seem to have switched places. Those two still don't seem to have very much to give. They've got a long way to go before they can catch up to the Flying Turtle in first place.
Absolutely, the Flying Turtle doing an absolutely cracking job here.
Giving a buzz of M Mark 331. I'm guessing that all of the spectators on that station have got to be absolutely crazy right now. This is really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, the black hole, they're pulling their lead back up in front of the Team TSN really well. They're coming back.
One thing I've noticed, Team TSN, initially they were making really wide turns. It seems like they've really dialed that in. They're going for quicker turns, tighter around the buoys at this point.
That is certainly going to save them the energy that they need for these laps. And black hole just passing through the gates. TSN again holding right back.
Looked like they came to a screeching halt around 7. Perhaps their engineering took a bit too much power out of their warp systems.
And black hole taking a lovely tight go around that 3P. Now, it's interesting that the black hole, it did go straight through the nebula. Personally, I probably would have gone a little bit wider, so you keep the speed up and just go around that edge of that nebula. So you've got the width to do that there. And TSN also goes through.
Looks like the Flying Turtle overshoots turn 6 and they're into the nebula.
Luckily for them, they've got the time to spare.
Elon, you got something to say?
I'm just extremely surprised that to be honest, the Flying Turtle is doing as well as it is. I expected them to be the slight underdogs since they've not had any racing yet this weekend.
Oh. Team the Flying Turtle with Wolf and Zorian. If I remember correctly, Wolf had a very large racing career back in the TSN a good, I believe, 6-7 years ago when he was still active in the group.
So he's a good old veteran of these races. That is absolutely showing here.
Team TSN, Kristen Barr and Raiden. I talked to them a little bit before the race. Apparently, last night they were doing quite a bit of preparation work on their engines, setting themselves up, tuning their engines, and getting their communication down. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it's giving them that much of an advantage, although they are staying ahead of the black hole.
Yeah, it seems a bit of a to and fro race between the Black Hole and Team TSN. It's going to be an open result, I think, for those two to see who comes
and
second.
The Flying Turtle misses turn 6. I believe that this is the final lap. I might be wrong.
The Flying Turtle being a whole half lap, if not further than everyone else.
And they pass buoy 6. It looks like they're taunting the rest of the crews. They're taking their time, being practically lackadaisical. I think I'm using that word correctly.
Well, even if you're not Roger, it sounds good to me. And Flying Turtle coming in for their last stretch. And what a pass through those gates there for the Flying Turtle. Excellent work.
And we'll see if they continue through the lap, or is that it?
Well, if I was Flying Turtle, I'd be taking a whole victory lap around the whole of the map.
Of course.
Still a close-knit race between the Black Hole and Team TSN. This still could go anywhere the way, except Black Hole has taken it really wide there.
And Team TSN crosses the finish line.
And there will be a deep black hole in the crew of the Black Hole's hearts on this one, I'm afraid, as they take the third place.
Running through the times, it appears that the Flying Turtle in first place got a final race time of 7 minutes 50 seconds, with the Team TSN following up at 8 minutes 35 seconds, and Black Hole crosses the line at just over 9 minutes at 9 minutes and 8 seconds.
Fantastic race there. Kudos definitely to the Flying Turtle crew.
I've got to say, I don't see very much that these ships did too much wrong, possibly on the first turn through the 5th turn. Team TSN might have gone a bit wide there. Also, a bit of infighting between Team TSN and the Black Hole might have been their downfall against the Flying Turtle.
Indeed, I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall on those ships just to hear what was going off.
Now, as we move to our second racing map, very likely the crews are going to ask for or are going to be given a practice lap by the race controller. So we'll get to see, well, a bit of their thought process on their first time through an entirely new map.
Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see what obstacles are going to be here for this one.
I've got to say, um, initially when I heard about this entire thing about racing Artemis, I didn't think it was going to be any good. I thought spaceships in an open, pretty much flat map, racing against each other. How exciting could that really be? It turns out back in race 2, I was taking the science station on the what was the name? Well, I was taking science station on the one 3-man ship.
Indeed, I do remember that.
I found out it was very exciting, actually. When you're getting in the race, it gets very competitive. You get your blood pumping, and I've got to say, it can be really adrenaline inducing.
Absolutely, and the focus you've got to have on these races, when especially navigating through these obstacles, it can be a fantastic adrenaline rush.
And for all of you that are watching right now, make sure to come in for the 4th session of races. That's going to be right before the GM mission and our closing remarks for this convention. I believe that's happening 5. Oh, that's actually a good amount of time from now, 7 hours.
Okay, so I'm quite familiar with this course as well, and that chicane between turns 3 and 4 is one hell of a speed killer. The tendency to overshoot on that is quite high, and it's a massive penalty to try and get back on track.
Absolutely.
That's a good one to bump maneuver real high and drop warp down real low.
And they're off on their practice laps. Black Hole taking it slow through 3 and 4. I think that maybe Team TSN and Black Hole are going to be keeping an eye on the Flying Turtle, seeing what they're doing.
Well, I've no idea where Team TSN's going. Completely missed out that chicane entirely.
If they do that on the main race, they're going to end up right at the back of the pack.
Indeed, that is not a place you want to be.
Black Hole missed that 6th buoy, but since this is a practice lap, should be all fine.
Hello. So, just to update you here, like you say, they are currently conducting a practice lap. We're going to do a few minutes of this. I've changed the energy settings for them on this one. So instead of having 1000 energy set all the time like it was last race, it's a little bit lower, and they're going to have to manage that energy so that, one, it doesn't go too high, and 2, that it doesn't go too low, because if they keep that high warp up for too long, it's going to cause them problems.
So that could be a very interesting twist for the Flying Turtle. If they were relying on that Warp 4 boosting all the way around the track, they're not going to be able to do that this time if they've got to watch their energy consumption.
So I am going to head back up to race control and let them complete a couple of extra laps.
Thank you, Xavier.
Do we have any information on
Oh,
what
and just very
sector this
quickly,
is in?
Supreme Leader will do. All right.
Supreme
And,
Leader.
Xavier, what's... Oh, there he goes. Kalon, do you remember which sector this is in?
I do not remember, unfortunately. I was just sort of sleeping in the transport truck while we made our way here, just so I could keep myself fresh for the race itself.
Very good, very good.
Just got word we're in Euphini Sector 9.
Euphini Sector 9.
And if I remember rightly, there's a station not too far away, I think in the next sector, that has quite a nice bar, if I remember rightly.
Command post up by the, it was the Aaron Gate.
That sounds about right.
Danny, excuse me. Sector 8.
I think I may have killed a few too many brain cells in those bars then.
Well, that's why I keep to ginger ale and ginger beer.
Good idea. Good idea. So it looks like Team TSN and Black Hole are getting back to their start positions. And Flying Turtle coming from behind, ready to get into position 2.
Yeah. And Flying Turtles dragged back to the start line. Don't want to give them that extra edge.
Okay, so this is the time when the crews are really going to need their focus going on. They've almost got a straight 90-degree turn as soon as they get out the gate. Ships are boosted.
Looking at the time period, it looks like we're only going to be able to squeeze 2 races out of this set. Coming up next, we have a sit-down with Tom Robertson, followed by the results of the mission scripting competition and the finale of the Atlantis campaign.
Sounds like a good profile coming up.
Oh, it should be a blast.
Flying Turtle takes a good line through that switchback.
TSN also, and they're taking a nice tight line also. Black Hole did go a little bit wide there. Now, will they choose the thinnest part of this nebula to go punching through? That would be the best bet.
Yes, and Team TSN blasts through past the Flying Turtle. One thing I've learned as my time at helm in these TSN ships especially, if you're going through Nebula, if you want to punch through at Warp 4, a really good thing is to boost up to Warp 4 right as you enter the Nebula. Stop warping at all. Let it coast you through.
Absolutely, that will also save your energy massively. Black Hole did take a little nick on the nebula coming down from the 7th to the 8th gate there. That will have really slowed them down. Not a mistake that they'll want to repeat.
Team TSN seems to be doing significantly better than their last.
Oh, a drastic overshoot there.
Yeah, a little bit there. As I was speaking of.
And Flying Turtle, awesome through that line.
It seems like the Black Hole's going to be able to pass Team TSN with that blunder that they just made.
This could well be a tight match again between the Team TSN and Black Hole.
Hopefully they're not going to allow the flying turtle to push up too far ahead. Keep that pressure on them.
Now, Flying Turtle has slowed down. So, is this an energy conservation tactic that they are using now? Limit that warp speed and the maneuvering speed. Save that energy.
If I remember correctly, from what information we were given previously, the energy that they're being given every second allows them to maintain a warp 3. However, the speed difference between warp 3 and warp 4, that could make a difference between winning and losing. So it's all about conserving energy and deciding where you actually want to use the energy that you have.
Absolutely right. Now, Black Hole did take that wide again and go through that nebula. Flying Turtle really has got these tight maneuvers down, perfected, haven't they?
Mm-hmm. I've
And
got to
Black,
say, I'm glad that I put my favor in them.
and Black Hole gone ever so wide on that.
TSN light cruisers. These are the backbone of the TSN fleet if you don't want to look at the heavy divisions. These were designed for speed maneuverability, get in, get out quick. So these are the perfect warships for these types of races.
One could argue that scouts are better. They're more efficient and faster.
Yes, that could be said. I've got to say that I'm still partial to the Artemis class.
I won't argue with you on that regard.
Yeah, Flying Turtle taking some asteroid hits as they're going through that field there. So
Team
it doesn't seem
TSN
to
stick
slow
with you as
down.
well.
Yeah, it's not something that these teams want to be doing too much of. Their engineering crews are focusing on the engines rather than fixing the rest of the ship.
Also, as I believe was brought up in one of the previous transmissions, those black holes become ever so much more dangerous when you're going at slow speeds. At higher field will allow you to ping right off. However, at lower speeds, such as warp 2, warp 1, they can cause real havoc on your ship systems if you collide with them.
Now, just watching the black hole going through that chicane on this time, they actually took a really, really good line. If only they'd have done that the last few laps, then we could be looking at a different story here.
Could be, we could be.
Oh, TSN slowed right down to a halt there.
And it looks like the Flying Turtle almost overshooting the fourth buoy again.
That may be a lapse in concentration. It's not normally seeing this these faults by the Flying Turtle.
Team TSN looks like they're trying to take advantage of that, but they're taking it very slow through that switchback. I might be miscounting, but I believe this is the final lap. So Team TSN has got to make up a good amount of time and distance. And hopefully they'll be able to push past the Flying Turtle.
Indeed. They've just got to remember not to gun it too hard still, because they still may run out of the energy before they get to the end. And Black Hole taking a huge wide line again. Such a shame. And that's Turtle through the gates.
And that's that race done. Team Flying Turtle going through the gate at a time of 6 minutes, 30 seconds. with Team TSN following up very close behind at 6 minutes 40 seconds.
And Black Hole just approaching turn 7. And just edging that nebula again. Final turn.
I've got to say, throughout this entire race, all of the teams have given a very good showing.
Ooh. And the Black Hole missed the gate. Missed the gate.
I believe that would count as a DNF at that point. But for the sake of time, it looks like they passed the gate at 7 minutes 30 seconds.
That's still a respectable time, reasonably.
Our race controller, Xavier, any comments you would like to make on these racers?
Yeah, it was good, fast races. That was enjoyable to watch and control there. It seemed like the teams got to grips with that course, so that chicane's always a tricky one for them.
Indeed, from the personal experience of trying to navigate through that, that is a cow of a chicane. It's just really getting that real tight line as best you can through that double turn and then coming out with a good angle.
So, it seems like we're reaching the end of our time period.
I'm just
So,
gonna
what's our
note
final
here
scores?
that we do have an hour break scheduled before our next event. We could use some of that time to run a third race.
I'm afraid I'm required for the next event. I'll be taking my hour break, so won't be able to run from race control. And
Alrighty then.
I apologize.
So, our final order. The Flying Turtle comes out first with 2 first-place wins. Team TSN following them as closely as they could, putting a lot of pressure on the Flying Turtle, coming out second with 2 second place. Black Hole gave a good showing. Unfortunately, they brought up the rear of the pack, third place with 2 third places in both of the races.
But what a great race overall. Very entertaining to watch, and I'm sure the everyone else watching really had a good time watching too.
So, coming up next, we've got a sit down with Tom Robertson. Make sure you come in for that,
I'll be there for that.
as well as the results for the mission.
Alright, we'll wrap it up here. Thanks everyone for watching. Thank you Kaylon and Wilcon for joining as commentators. You did a great job. Xavier, thanks for being on race control and managing
No
that.
problem. My pleasure.
And thank you to all the racers. Well done, everyone. And with that, we will take our leave.